I'm Vic Cohen, and it's a fair question. It's a fair question. It's a fair question. I'm Vic Cohen, and it's a fair question. It's a fair question. I'm Vic Cohen, and it's a fair
Hello there, everyone. This is Vic
question.
Cohen, and you are listening or watching, depending, or maybe doing both. If you've got video, you definitely need to listen too, right? This is the show where no question is ever too personal or off limits. And I am so excited about tonight. You know, I'm always excited about the guests I bring in here. But what I love about this particular guest is that, well, we met through a project I was casting. She blindly submitted herself, and I was so impressed with her that I did cast her for the role, and she was amazing. And what I love about this woman is that, well, she could do so many things. She's very blessed. She could do many different things in life. She is an actress, a model. She's a beauty pageant winner, so she and I have much in common in that area. She's a scholar. She speaks 5 languages. Yes, and not one of them is Pig Latin. That'd probably be 6. She attended university at 16, so that would make her maybe a genius. And she's gorgeous. So it's crazy. That's a lot for one person to have to walk around with. And her name is Preeti Uppala. How are you?
I'm so well. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a blessing. I'm honored.
Well, you know, I don't know why people meet in certain ways, but I feel really blessed to get to know you. And now it's been about 8 months since I've seen you. And I drove her here. I picked her up because Preeti doesn't drive. She thinks she's in New York. And yeah.
Why drive when you can get driven around? Excuse me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you're a big Uber person. You told me.
That's right.
I think you're just scared of LA driving. Do you have a driver's license?
I have an Australian driver's license.
Well, you need to get with it, girl. Well, you are in America now. I thought you were from Australia from the accent.
Okay.
That's a joke. Your accent, to me, sounds more Indian. Would you say that's probably
I've
accurate?
never lived in India, but it's like Indian English / it actually sounds a bit Welsh, I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got a hearing problem. I'm just kidding. You have I would say Indian. I'll go with Indian. Maybe because you look more Indian, so that the mind puts it there. Well, when I talked to Preeti, when I talked to you about being a guest on the show, I had a dilemma because here you have such an incredible resume and you've done so many fascinating things. It was like, what really pinpoints why I want you here and want to introduce you to all of you, my friends watching and listening. And I'm going to tell you why, Preeti. You don't know why.
I don't.
No, you don't.
Is this a prank?
It's not a prank. I am known for some pranks, but not here. This is 100% just authentic, real. There is no prank. The reason I have you here is because I think you are an extraordinary example of, I'm calling this show, life choices. Mm-hmm. You were making 6 figures, if your bio is half true.
It is 100% true, yeah.
As you were doing some kind of consulting around the world. Banking, yes. Okay. And here you had these 2 degrees, these languages, you're traveling around the world. Now, when you say 5 figures or 6 figures, what were you making? 100,000 or, there's a big range.
Yeah, I was making that when I was 21. Okay.
What about, okay. For those of you who've never made that, that's painful to hear, but it's been well earned. You're a hard worker. What were you making at the height of your career as an investment banker?
Oh, I don't want to share that.
It is a fair question.
No, I don't.
Was it over $500,000?
No.
Was it just about $250,000?
Yeah, around that.
Somewhere? Were you on track to become?
I was very young. I was 22, 23, a kid,
Okay.
Really, yeah.
Were you on track?
I was on track, absolutely.
To be kind of like what would be the equivalent here of a Wall Street banker?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you were on the fast track to millions?
At some point, eventually, yeah.
And you chose not to do that?
Yes.
And why?
Because money does not buy happiness. It really doesn't. And you have to be fulfilled in life, I think. And when there is no fulfillment, no matter how lucrative it is what you're doing, there's a deep void inside of you that forms. And I'm just a very spiritual, sensitive person. And I got in touch with that void. I think a lot of people probably feel it who are in these high-powered positions, but I think they're so numb.
Do you believe that it was because it was a high-powered position that it made you numb? Or do you believe that there are probably some people in high-powered positions who aren't numb?
No, I wasn't numb. I was very sensitive, so I could feel the emptiness.
Picking up their energy.
But some people, they have no clue that they are not following their dharma in life, which is like your life purpose, your gift to the world, right?
Right.
And, their life passes by, and then when they're 70, they're like, what have I done? I really want to do this and that. But for me, I think it was probably a blessing from the universe. I just knew that it wasn't what I was meant to be doing.
But did you just walk into the office one day and it was an arm sweep across the desk and said, I'm leaving, this is it, it's my last day?
I think it was more dramatic than that, because
that sounded pretty dramatic.
No, in the sense that I think it was a decision that I made in my heart. And it was a very firm decision. And when you make that sort of decision, you never go back. And I did make that decision at a very young age.
How old?
23 or 24.
Well, without giving your age away, because in the entertainment business as an actress, that's kind of something we don't want to be typecast.
No.
But you I'm imagining, are you in your 20s or?
Yes.
I mean, you appear to be.
People think I'm 18, and that's what I get cast for all the time.
Because when you say when I was younger, when we were talking in the car, I'm like, you're still kind of young.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a good thing that you can play really young.
Absolutely.
And older.
Yes.
Now, what I find also very interesting is here you were making all this money. And I know it's not all about money. Believe me, I don't live my life based on income. I also live based on passion. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to do well with what I love doing. Now, you though, and where you are in your career right now, you're all over the map in a way, because there are some days I know you're a spokesperson for some companies and a spokeswoman, and that probably can be pay well. But then I also know that when you submitted for this job for me, do you mind me saying what it paid?
Go for it.
I mean, it was $100.
$150, I think.
$150? You talked me up to
I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and that was for a full day work.
Yes.
And that's probably what you were making in half a minute in Australia. Did you but we had fun, right?
Absolutely.
It was a hidden camera bit.
And that's why you do it. Yeah.
And it led to this. And in my belief is that, I don't want to totally take credit for it, because this idea that Howie Mandel, who I've done a lot of work with, would always say to me, because I had a lot of time working with him and having private conversations, but work begets work.
Absolutely.
And so here we are. Now you're making nothing with me.
That's funny.
But this interview and this connection, we don't know where this relationship could go.
It's priceless, really. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I believe it is too. And connecting has a value that you can't put a dollar value to. So that not looking back, is that how you felt? How long ago was that?
That was that was a few years ago. Yeah.
Okay. 5 years ago?
Around that, a bit less than that, yeah.
And now you live in a nice place. I did pick you up.
Yeah.
Now, are you able to live on what you earn, or did you have savings?
Oh, absolutely. No.
Help
I
you,
do very well. I'm a full-time SAG actress, model, and a global spokesperson. I do very well.
Okay. Now, when you say global spokesperson, it's not for Preeti. It's for the companies that
Well, I am a brand too, but on top of that,
we're all a brand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I've just been appointed the global ambassador, the face and the voice of this incredible lifestyle brand out of Australia, Innoviva. And it's the premier urban winery brand in the world.
And we'll be back after this. That sounded like a commercial a little bit, but that's good. You worked it in, and that's not a problem, because that is what you've been doing, and part of what you do.
Yeah.
But what really blew me away was that you came in and you really were great. You performed so well and gave me just what I needed on camera, and had a great attitude, and it wasn't about the money, and truly you loved what you do, and. Were you more content that day, or when you are acting, than when you were necessarily not going with what felt in alignment with who you are? Absolutely.
Yeah, there was no joy or fulfillment when I was in the corporate world. I think there was just, the universe had this divine plan for me, and it was not what I was doing at the time. So one way or another, it would all just disintegrate, whether it took 10 years or 5 years or one. So I'm very blessed that it happened at the time that it happened, because this whole thing could have happened much later in my life, and I would have lost the most precious years of my life, you know. So that didn't happen. So I feel grateful.
Well, your parents are international kind of success stories.
Yes.
I mean, your dad is, where is he now?
Well, he's in Dubai at the moment. He's overseeing a project, and my mother is in Sydney, Australia.
Is she as active with her career as your father, or you?
No, she is a homemaker.
Okay, then I was mistaken. I thought that she was also... No, I mean, I think I described her as more of a corporate, but I'm not
she has
that
3
in any
university degrees. She's extremely intelligent, and she used to be a university lecturer for a long time, and very, very smart woman, speaks many different languages, and she taught political science.
What are you talking about in so many languages?
So interesting, yeah.
What are the languages that you do speak?
I speak, of course, English, Hindi, Urdu.
No, English. I haven't understood anything you said. Sorry.
Telugu.
No,
A little
what
bit
was the last one?
Telugu, which is like a South Indian language. That's my where my mother comes from.
Okay.
And a little bit of Arabic. And I'd love to learn French because I spent a hell of a lot of time in France and Europe and, you know, south of France, so it's about time. And I lived in Paris growing up, so I should speak better French.
So what happened? Was there like, what was that moment? Was there an event that occurred? Was there a romantic breakup? Was there something that happened at work?
No, it was a very interesting thing. I had finished up a contract with a bank, and then I was looking for my next contract, which is what you do as an independent consultant, and that's the most lucrative way to work in that world, the finance and banking. You don't want to be a salaried employee. You know, you really want to be a freelance person. You just move from place to place. And so I was looking for my next gig in a way. And I'm very qualified and I interview very well. I've been offered jobs that I wasn't even qualified for because I impressed them at the interview. So but for about 6 months, no matter how hard I tried, like I would go to all these interviews, I would go to all the second interviews and the third and the final, but I would never get it. And I knew after 6 months that it was very bizarre and it wasn't something I was doing. I think it was just something bigger than myself that was happening. And I'm glad that I had the awareness at the time to just notice that this is not right. There's something else going on, and let me dwell into this. And then one day I was going to an interview and I met this spiritual person on the train, and he looked at me and he's like, you know, you have the look of a seeker, and I feel like there's a lot of questions that you have. I suggest that you come to this meditation place and meditate deeply, and you will find the answers there. And he left me with that, and I did go to that meditation place and I started meditating, and when I did tap in, the answers did come. And then I realized, oh my God, you know, I am a creative person. I'm a artistic person. I've always wanted to express myself. And I have all these gifts that I never did anything with. And I never even told my parents that I wanted to venture in this field. And now that everything is sort of disintegrated in a way, I have nothing to lose. I'm going to follow it. I'm going to just go after it. And that's what I did.
And this man, how long were you in his cult?
I just saw him for that 5 seconds in that train.
That sounds like a pickup line too.
No, he was. He's happily married, and his wife was lovely. I've met them at some other. So it was totally
on the up and up.
No, he was a really very highly evolved spiritual guy who could see in me that I was searching. You know. Yeah.
And what kind of meditation was that?
It was just a very basic meditation. I don't do that particular form anymore, but it introduced me into the world of spirituality.
So here in Los Angeles, a lot of people use the word spirituality
very loosely.
Yes, I don't. It has different meanings. Sometimes it can be just a hip thing to say.
I think it is.
So what are your credentials? So we don't, to prove that you. Not to prove you're really a truly spiritual person, but I mean, because that doesn't feel right. Yeah. But I mean, like, what is your practice?
Yeah. What
does that look like for you?
Firstly, I don't know if you believe in past lives and all reincarnation and all that good stuff, but I am a very old soul. I think my soul came into this world with a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, been there, done that, just a lot of past life experience that I carry with me. I think my aura has that. So from a very young age, I was very wise. I was very sensitive. I was very sort of emotionally very mature. I was very empathetic. I could just feel pain, and it was sort of this compassion came out of me, and I didn't even know what it was. It scared me a little bit. But I've traveled all around the world, like for 60 countries, in search of that, that spirituality. I've met great spiritual masters from all different faiths. And
now, is this because you happen to be working and you were in an area where you could meet with someone, or you literally just committed your life to a spiritual search?
Well, after this experience where I decided to, go into this creative field and all that, I think I changed as a person. I really changed as a being, and my priorities changed, and I just wanted to follow my heart and be authentic. And that led me on the spiritual path. And so for the past, 5, 6, 7 years, it's been traveling constantly around the world and meeting these amazing teachers. And
what are you in search of?
At the end of the day, you're really in search of yourself. It's all about coming back home, because there is nowhere else to go. Everything else is an illusion. You only exist because of my subconscious, so even you are just a mirror. So all that there is in the end is just you.
Is there a religion that you're, or a religious philosophy that you're hanging this on?
I've had the great fortune of, visiting so many different countries with different religions. I grew up in Dubai and the Middle East, and it was all Islamic. And then I lived in Europe. It's all very Christian. And then, of course, India is very Hindu. And then
you're Hindu, is that correct?
Yes. And then in between, I got introduced to a great Sufi master, and that's the mystical side of Islam. And that is very beautiful practice. And then I have a lot of, friends who are Jewish, and I got introduced to the Kabbalah, and that is very, very beautiful and mystical too. And Buddhism, of course. So I take from all of these faiths, different parts that serve me. Yeah.
I'm curious because I'm not a woman. I'm not a pretty woman. I don't have, I've done some, I've gone to some good schools and stuff, but you have like this combination of like, the beauty and the brains. And I'm just wondering if you ever find that like a challenge as a woman, the fact that you do model and like, is there an assumption that some men might have that perhaps you're void of intelligence? I hate to ask that question, but there's this stereotype sometimes,
Absolutely.
which I don't buy.
I agree with it. Well, funnily enough, I think in most cases the stereotype stands true, because I'm in that world and I see all these, beauty pageant contestants and these models and even actors to a certain degree, and they don't have anything else apart from that, the look or the skill or whatever. So even honestly, even in the modeling, on a shoot or whatever, on set, I feel like an outcast. I'm like, what am I doing in this place? I'm, not in the right place in some ways. I make it, yes, people will always judge. It's their own perception and their own projection. You can't take that too personally. I think I consciously try to be very verbal and very, like from the very beginning when I meet someone, I think I don't really try, but it's a subconscious intention. I think the way it works out, I show that I'm smart with what I say and the conversation and the topics and how I speak and how I carry myself. I'm very mindful of that to sort of bring that forth from the get-go, so that there is no incongruency there. But people will always think what they like, and also not just the beauty and intelligence, but also they think you're so glamorous, you dress well, you have had this luxurious life, and then you have the spirituality on this side. How do those two go together? I think that's another big stereotype, and they can, because as long as you're not attached to the luxury, there's nothing wrong with enjoying it. It's there for the enjoyment,
right?
So that's actually even bigger challenge, I think. I don't want to have to wear all white robes or saffron robes to be taken seriously as a spiritual seeker. And, so again, I have to always, I think, speak my mind about that and tell people or show people that it's very sincere. Yeah.
And the acting, is this where where do you see yourself in maybe 10, 20 years?
Ooh, 10, that's too long. Let's just stick with like 1 year or 3 years. I live like that, because I think that the times are changing. You can't have a 5-year plan. Even 5 years is because the world is changing, and any day, any second, anything can happen politically, economically, financially. We're seeing it right on the global stage. So I really see myself living my authentic life, fulfilling my dharma, which is a Sanskrit word for life purpose. And my life purpose is to inspire and empower people through my work and my presence. The work encompasses movies that I make, pictures that I, take, and so on. But I write. I'm writing a book. I do public speaking. That's, I think, a big part of my brand, and I look forward to doing more of that. But the present side of things is just who I am, the energy and being a role model or just an example of someone who is, sincerely on the spiritual path and interested in their spiritual development in Hollywood.
How do you take like beauty pageant work and somehow create it as a spiritual experience, because it seems so superficial, and so about how someone looks in a bathing suit.
Oh my
heels.
God, it is so, I swear, the first time, how I got involved in all of that was certainly not of my choice. Someone came across my modeling portfolio and she called me and she said, I love your look. You're so amazing. I want you to compete in this pageant that I'm organizing. And then I've seen all the charity work that you've done and this and that. And I looked at her pageant and I had zero interest in any of that. But then I thought this could be a platform to, because I think that particular pageant, the first one that I did, it had something to do with nature, and I thought, why don't I use this as a platform to do some fundraising and to just, soldier for some cause. And I did, and I got a lot of press. I didn't win that one, but I was the most...
What was the name of it?
It was a Miss Earth pageant.
The Miss Earth pageant.
Yeah. No. It's huge, actually. But,
really?
But I was more popular than the person who won because I ended up getting all this great press all over because of all these sort of the fundraising things that I had done. And clearly I was the most sort of intelligent or the person that was doing a lot with their life when I was competing. And anyway, I got a lot back from it, and it just led to other things. It opened other doors. So I use it like that. It's just a platform, I think, yeah.
I know you've been around the world a lot, and you're living here in L.A. You're living by yourself, right? I mean, you don't have a family support system here in Los Angeles, correct?
I do have a support system. I don't have my parents or my family here, but my support system is my extended spiritual family. It's the friends that I have, especially from the spiritual community, because they have become like my extended family. And
what community is that?
Well, LA is great for that. I tell people and they just laugh when I say this. They don't believe it, but I say it's one of the most spiritual places on the planet because of the huge New Age community here, and it's really alive and kicking. It's huge, and I was very lucky. I think from the very minute that I landed, that I somehow my spirit attracted them, and they just came into my life. I just randomly went to some event, and I met.
Which ones are we talking about?
Different yoga communities and different like the Self-Realization Fellowship is one.
I've done New Year's there, so 3 times. I think. Did I tell you about that?
No, but that's amazing. I'm also a professional astrologer, and that's also very spiritual in its own way. So the astrology community is also very supportive. And, I used to do a lot of yoga before, but that's a huge community. And then you have all these, just the mindful, Well,
looking at your life and what are the challenges that you're facing that you lean into your spirituality? Like, because on the surface, it doesn't seem like you really have much to be worried about.
Oh, God, you have no idea. I mean, I am like getting ulcers because of all the different, the burdens that firstly, I'm a perfectionist. So I am very hard on myself, and I need to be a little bit kinder, I think, and just take it a little easier.
Do you go to therapy?
No, but I do a lot of healing. I get a lot of healing work done, which is similar but not quite there.
Like, what's it called? Reiki?
Something of that sort, like different energetic things. And
like what? What would be the most wild one?
whoa, I don't want to go there. But yeah, things like Reiki. And
Wait, where were you going to?
No, it's okay.
Wow. Where were you? That's the one we want to talk about.
Oh my God.
What was that?
Let's not go there.
Is it sexual?
No. Actually, funnily enough, there is I don't know if you ever heard this term. It's called Tantra. Tantra is sacred sexuality. That is very healing. That's a certain type of healing therapy that one can opt for.
I do tantric sex with myself in LA rush hour traffic.
Well, trust me.
I can go 4 hours.
Tantric sex
That's not true.
is very healing. Whether it's...
Can you do it by yourself?
Absolutely. It actually...
Show us.
It starts by yourself. Everything starts with the self.
Oh, it did for me about 8 years old.
No. It starts with self. And I think in Tantra, they do that. It's not like a couple thing. It's one-on-one for a long time, and then you partner up. But it's still it's your own
do that?
energy.
You do tantric sex with
No, but
groups?
I'm saying that's a very it's an amazing form of healing therapy. It's a different. I mean, there's so many things you can do, but so my issues really breaking it on the level that I want to really be on the global stage.
What if you don't? What if you're not?
I'm very confident and positive and uplifted about that dream. Like I do see it. I clearly visualize.
What
it
if you connect with just one person? Isn't that enough?
No, but I what I'm trying to say is that I think I'm going to get the opportunity to be on a bigger platform, to be seen and heard by more.
Bigger than this podcast?
So funny.
This is pretty. Don't laugh. You'll see.
And, I think, but no, it's a huge challenge because it's Hollywood and this is I come from investment banking and that was as cutthroat and competitive and, oh my God, testosterone filled as that was. This is even more dirtier. It's such a dirty world. And to be a straight, sober, clean person in Hollywood, having your integrity intact and walking the path.
Have you ever been propositioned?
Funnily enough, I think my energy doesn't attract those types. I think those are low vibrations. They don't stick to my field. It happens on all levels.
Right.
There's been a lot of.
So you haven't had the cliche of the casting couch or the sleazy producer.
Not at such a low level because it happens at all levels, and I think a lot not at such a low level? Like people face it. On the very peripherals of the industry, like even, it's not even, the person isn't even really a director and he's doing all of that. But then you see at the very top, the biggest, it happens at there too. So no, I've been fine.
You've not had any experiences like that?
No, but I know when the person is interested in me or it happens all the time. But I think also I have to hold myself in a certain way, right? I have to carry myself in a way energetically and with who I am and what I say to a point where they're like, okay, she's just not that type,
Yeah.
And they back off, Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I have to think about this. I don't think I've ever slept with anyone for a part, but I wouldn't be against it.
That's so interesting. No, it's
That's
so
horrible. I'm like 95%. Hey, Jeremy, do you think I would sleep with someone for a part? Like,
yeah, definitely.
I think you would.
Like a man? Like I'm totally straight, but do you think?
Yeah, it depends on the part, but I think you'd cross the line.
Like I would probably, I'm going to go there. I'm going to say like if it were a big studio film and I knew that the man was HIV negative, because I just don't want to take chances, and it was a pretty good role, and he said he would like to pleasure me, I would think about that.
Oh my God.
Jeremy, are you with me on this?
Yeah.
Let's say I'm working like with some really cool people and it's just our little secret. Now, if I had to pleasure him, definitely. No, I'm kidding. You want to leave so badly right now. Preeti, you're like, oh my God.
But it's so interesting, I think.
Thank you for your input, Jeremy.
When you had that observation, you said, oh, it seems like you have no problems. Oh my God, I am, there's so many, it's such a struggle.
But you know what, even not to be argumentative or too challenging here, but the too perfectionistic thing, that's not even, that's surface stuff. Like you said, like that would be a non-answer to me. Like when I go,
no,
what's
but when
really,
you live your life like that,
but
you know?
I'd like to really like hear a real problem, not I'm too hard on myself.
No,
that's a great answer in the job interview because it makes the person who's doing the interview go, oh, this person's a hard worker.
Yeah, no,
what's one that's not so kind of...
No, I mean, the whole thing, it's like, you know, you're...
Are you insecure? Or are you...
No, but okay, it's like, this is a very, I was going to say, you know, even compared to banking and all that, this is the most challenging industry in the world to crack into. Yeah. Because it's so little is based even on talent.
So what is it based on?
I think as we were mentioning before, it's a combination of timing, of connections, being at the right place at the right time. Of course, some talent, but it's a lot of things coming together. And I'm a big believer in fate and karma and destiny. So at the end of the day, if it's not in the cards, it's not in the cards, you know. And
like you leaving the investment bank?
Yeah, that wasn't in my cards, right? So this, I think the biggest fear is that it's not there. However, I've made a lot of inroads in so many ways. But, you know, it's like a daily challenge. And, you know, how do I say this? I look very young, but nobody is getting any younger, you know. And so there's a time crunch too. And then, I've left everything, but I have sacrificed everything to be here. I've left my family, my parents, my home, my house, everything, my friends, to move to a foreign country. And I had never been to the States before I had moved here to LA. I had never been to California. I had never been to LA. I literally landed here with a little suitcase, absolutely nowhere to go. I mean, in the sense that no...
How long ago was that?
5 years ago.
Okay.
And I had no accommodation planned. And it was just an adventure.
She was the homeless person with Louis Vuitton.
That's
Louis
funny.
Vuitton
but,
suitcase.
No, but it's leaving that. I think only recently I've realized how painful that is. You know, like when I saw my mother recently, it was just, I was like, I can't believe, I hope this sacrifice is worth it, because these are very precious years. You know?
I believe that, first of all, every year is precious. And I also believe that in the idea that if you're not getting, if I'm not achieving the goal I planned on having, I'm still learning. Maybe that's why I'm here. Mm-hmm. And I was wrong about why I'm here. Yeah.
Your plans change, you know, and certainly for me, it has morphed a lot. Absolutely. The vision has changed so much.
Because you were, you know, just to put it in perspective again, like you were like kind of like in investment banking in Australia, you'd be kind of like an A-list or like an actress in the business who's kind of like almost an A-lister, you know, kind of in the, you know, getting into that area in that world.
I was so socialized in my corporate world, you mean?
And, I mean, if we were to do a parallel between that business and the show business, you were kind of like the equivalent of an actress who's been doing some major roles in some huge films.
Yes.
And you just walked away.
Yeah, and then to start from the ground up.
And I know.
That is very challenging.
Right, and I know because not only did you audition for a $150 a day job, which was a grueling job. We drove all the way to San Diego and back in one day and did a shoot. But I know I was on another project that you submitted to. I'll tell you, I'm not allowed to do a non-disclosure to talk about it, but I saw that you submitted to that.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And I know what that job paid, and I knew the job, and it impressed me because you just want to work.
Yeah, I do just want to work.
You're not going to take, you know, a job obviously that's abusive or or in some ways portrays you in a negative light.
That's true.
You know, there are limits.
Yeah.
But you are submitting to jobs that someone who wants to work.
Yeah. That's
true.
And
you're not, there's no ego in your submissions.
No, there is no ego in this thing. And then, but you know, when you work consistently every day, it can be very lucrative in that. I must say I've changed in the sense that now I only do, I have a minimum, I think, which is quite good because, you know, being in the union is great because, you know, their minimums are pretty high. So,
yeah. And so as far as your future, you're saying that it's pretty much a day-to-day or, you know, a year or 2 year. You're not, how can
not a 5 or 10 year plan, but I know who I am. I know what I want to be in the world. This is the year for me to really be who I want in the world. And I think, you know, more public speaking and get my message.
What's the public speaking? What is the message in 2 sentences?
Just be yourself, be your authentic, follow your passion. the entire universe conspires to make it happen when you are true to your personal journey. This is from The Alchemist, which is my favorite book. And my life is a living proof of that because I chose to believe in my dream, and I am very magical. My life is very magical because I believe in magic and I allow magic in my life. So even that itself, that could be a topic for
what is,
talk,
when you say
how
you
to be more magical.
What does that mean to you?
Allow the goodness, the abundance, prosperity, opportunities to come in, receive. You have to remove the blocks. Only we sabotage our own successes, You have to know that you're worthy of love and goodness and, prosperity and all that. It's only, I think, the lack of self-worth that limits us. Yeah, that's why we don't get it, because on some level we think we're not deserving of it. And I've had those battles just as anybody else has. But I hope to be spending a lot of time with back home, because this company, Innoviva, is Australian. So I hopefully will get to go back there more. But I think for me, I moved here. Honestly, I just thought, I got it, baby. I got the goods. I got all the ingredients. 5 different psychics had told me that it's going to happen. I'm going to be a big star in Hollywood. So I just packed up and came. And then now I'm not waiting for the breakthrough role or whatever. I'm making it happen. I think I'm meeting it halfway in a way that I never have before.
And how is that?
Well, I'm just more committed and focused than ever before. I think before, when I first moved here, I really just thought I was going to be walking down the street and somebody was going to, I really thought I was going to walk off the plane and walk onto a set of some blockbuster. I really thought that. It's so delusional, but that was where my mind was at. And now I am willing to, work comes first. I've made it a priority and the focus and giving it the love that it deserves. And you see it because it's been crazy this year. It's been really amazing. Yeah.
The biggest mistake, I think, although there are many, but one big mistake, I won't say the biggest, but one of the biggest mistakes I think people make, and I'll start with myself at times, is saying no to me. I believe that it's most in line with the way things are ultimately going to, the best for me if I let the universe say yes or no. Because how many times have you listening, all of you, thought of an idea that could be you think is really great, and then you say no to it right away? Or a job opportunity comes about and you go into automatic why it's not going to work. Saying no like that is just painful, and unfortunately I've said yes enough. I mean, it's to myself because I have to say yes to me first.
Absolutely.
And then go for it. That it's worked, things have worked out. But I think that saying no to oneself when right away is a real a habit that just doesn't work.
No, you have to say yes, allow. I think this is the year of saying yes. I think what was my resolution this year? Stop waiting. Just be, and be the person that I really came into the world to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, I think that when people, there are times where I think therapy is helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's not just always about, I'm
you've
just
had a
be
breakdown.
My purpose.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think if there are big obstacles,
some
in the
issues,
way,
yeah, sure.
They need to be worked on.
Absolutely, yeah.
How can people get a hold of you? We're pretty much wrapping up here. I mean, this has been amazing. It's so helpful.
Wow. You can catch me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's Preeti Upala. Should I give them my email address?
Well, why don't you spell that?
Okay, so on the handles for all of this is Preity, and the last name is Uupala. So you can catch me anywhere. So please drop in and
say that again.
Preity, and the last name is Uupala.
And so that is that like Instagram?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all of them. They have this. It's just the same name everywhere.
Okay, so what's going on in your love life? How's that working out here in LA?
That's none of your business.
Are you seeing someone? Do you have a boyfriend?
Maybe. You don't want to know.
We want to know.
I have admirers all over the world. Oh, God.
Well, how do you meet people here in Los Angeles? Is it easy?
I travel a lot. I go to 15 to 20 countries every year.
What are you running from?
No. That's
the government after you or something?
No. Good point. Running from myself. No, just kidding.
Do you ever find, because you have a look like, you look like you're foreign. I hate to, it's not the Anglo-Saxon with all the, the terrorist stuff. Like, do you find that you've been treated any differently?
No, not me. I don't think.
Your name is like obviously not.
No, it doesn't sound.
Christian
it doesn't sound Arabic enough. Okay. I think I've never. I really do travel a lot. I've never had a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had you ever been concerned about that or not really?
I don't think like that. My mindset is very different. I don't have insurance. I don't.
You don't have insurance?
I don't get sick.
You don't have health insurance?
I don't have health insurance. I don't need it.
Okay.
I don't do it's just.
You might want to still get the health insurance.
No. But
it is the law now,
Well,
but
I really.
No, but you live in the United States.
That's funny.
You know what? I would fire that psychic who said you don't need health insurance.
No psychic told me. It's just,
no one plans to get sick, by the way.
But here, I think in this country they do, and they hope that they do because they're paying so much insurance.
No one's hoping.
I know people who do.
Jeremy.
It's their sick mentality. It's just the American way of thinking. It's just consumption and a lot of fear.
Hold on. Let me get Jeremy. Don't you think she should get health insurance?
Yeah, I
I
just
have
for
free
protection.
health insurance that I
doesn't
got
SAG
when
give you health insurance?
You have to earn a certain amount.
Yeah. No, not just the SAG, but when I first moved here, I walked into some hospital and they said, "Oh, you qualify for free health insurance." So I still have that. I've never used it in 5 years.
Okay. I don't know how we got off track here into your health insurance life.
No, but I don't think like that. The terrorist, I'm very positive.
So we're talking about your love life. You say you travel a lot.
You manifest your thoughts become things, your perceptions become your reality. So,
but I don't believe people who have cancer were planning on it.
If you ask an energetic person, they may not consciously want it, but it's a lesson, and on a soul level,
think that
because that teaches them to be stronger, and also it's a karmic thing. That's a deep subject, Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting.
Everything, because physical disease is an emotional imbalance. So you have to really look at the emotional imbalance that caused it, which is usually,
How do you do that? How do you look at it?
You have to be very honest with yourself. It's usually...
But if I'm an untrained person, how do I even know?
Well, that's why this whole paradigm shift of listening to yourself and tapping in and meditation and...
Where do you learn that? It's not self-actualization fellowship.
Oh, absolutely it is. We're in LA. This is the best place on the planet.
Is that the place you went to learn that?
No, that was... that's a beautiful space.
I love that.
That's
place,
an energy vortex. No, but they have courses and all that.
Okay.
But I just pick up any... just Google meditation in LA, or even to some extent yoga helps you with that too, because it really gives you a lot of clarity and your physical body is in tune. So, yeah.
So you take no medicine?
No.
Do you want some? I've got some.
I don't need it.
I've got some cholesterol medicine for you if you like.
No. But I travel a lot. I meet a lot of people on my travels. I work. I go to a lot of film festivals. I get invited to a lot of events overseas all the time. So, and I have friends all over. But yes, there's a lot of broken hearts and a lot of admirers.
How long has it been since you've been in a relationship? It's been a while, I think.
No. You don't know my status now, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
No, hell no.
Fair question.
I'm too young. No, it's okay.
Are you looking to get married?
Not just yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a guy in your life?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe more than one. I don't know.
Wow. In every country?
No. It's one-sided in those ways, yeah.
What's the sexy... We're going to have to finish here, but what's the sexiest language to say I love you? What's that one... you speak...
I would say French.
Know. No, that you know. Because you know some obscure ones. To me, they're not obscure to people.
I wouldn't say it's the sexiest, but it's sweet. I think Hindi, Urdu.
That's the language.
Yeah, it's poetic.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think French is the best.
Well, yeah.
French is the sexiest language.
Absolutely,
yeah.
for sure. And that's
why I want to learn it more.
They have the best food. You know,
They do.
like French fries.
It's my favorite. No. I love French food. It's my favorite.
All right.
cuisine.
Well, listen, it's been so great. I can't thank you enough for joining me and joining all of my friends here watching and family, because I consider you all like family. And for those of all of us who want to follow you and your journey, and because it could go anywhere, we don't know.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, and you seem like.
And I have my own YouTube channel. It's the same thing, just Preeti Upala. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much again for taking the time this evening here in downtown Los Angeles to join me and us. And thank all of you. Please subscribe at Vic Cohen's It's a Fair Question. I had to think about the name of the show. On iTunes, that's the best place to subscribe. And thanks again. Hope to see you again soon. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Blessings. Thank you.
I'm Vic Cohen, and it's a fair question. It's a fair question. It's a fair question. I'm Vic Cohen, and it's a fair question. It's a fair question. I'm Vic Cohen, and it's a fair question.